If I, as a golfer, want to hit the ball as far as humanly possible, I would do those two things the most. The golfers who straighten their legs and raise their hip the most would hit the ball the farthest. An exaggerated example would be like a Kyle Berkshire. Maybe we'll put a little driver of him up on the screen, and you can see with his driver, holy cow, does he straighten his legs and raise his belt line. That would produce the most power. Now on the opposite end of the spectrum, the golfer who has the legs the most bent, the longest, and the hips the lowest, would hit the ball the shortest. Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about the hanger training aid. I absolutely love this. I firmly believe that this is good for every single golfer. This hanger here creates and controls what I think is the most important part of the swing, which is the wrist angle. It snaps right on. It takes me probably 30 seconds to put on. I can put it right in my golf bag, and best of all is you can hit balls with it. You can actually hit balls with it. So I love this hanger training aids. Look at when I do that well, how that sits on my forearm. Now watch when I cut my wrist, how that comes off. Immediate feedback for where my wrist angle is at. No one that can have too flat of a left wrist. One of the few things that all good ball strikers have, we're trying to have. Flat left wrist, right? Super easy to use, incredible immediate feedback. With the coupon code GogornoGolf.com, it's only $59. You're gonna absolutely love it. We'll put all the details down in the description down below. All right guys, in today's video, we're gonna be talking about explosive power moves through the ball, in particular how the lower body, the legs work through impact. I wanna talk about two things that I'd like for you to practice and put in your swing so you can hit the ball more solid and farther. Before we dive in, I wanna make sure you are aware of our 14-day free trial currently going on at CogornoGolf.com. You sign up, send me in your swings. I'm personally gonna analyze those for you, give you a video back of exactly what to prioritize, how to practice, how to get better. Absolutely free of cost, 14-day free trial. If you like it, stay with us. If not, no big deal. You still got an analysis from me. I want to make sure you have everything you need to improve. That's why we're doing that at CogornoGolf.com. The link will be down below. So lower body power moves through the ball. Listen, there's two things that are really important to me if I'm training someone to hit the ball farther. And that's number one, the straightening of the legs through impact. And number two, which goes along with it, the hips raising through impact. I would look at it this way. If I, as a golfer, want to hit the ball as far as humanly possible, I would do those two things the most. The golfers who straighten their legs and raise their hip the most would hit the ball the farthest. An exaggerated example would be like a Kyle Berkshire. Maybe we'll put a little driver of him up on the screen, and you can see with his driver, holy cow, does he straighten his legs and raise his belt line. That would produce the most power. Now on the opposite end of the spectrum, the golfer who has the legs the most bent, the longest, and the hips the lowest, would hit the ball the shortest relative to how far they could hit it. So if I take a golfer who hits, let's say an 8-iron, and they make a golf swing and hit it, say 150 yards. If I took that same exact golfer and kept their legs bent forever and their hips the lowest forever, they would hit the ball probably 140 yards. Now that same golfer who would straighten the legs and raise the hip the most would hit the ball maybe 160 yards, right? So relative to whatever power you've got, you would maximize that power by doing these pieces the most. Now there's a couple of variables that I want to go through, and then we'll talk about a couple of drills how I would practice this in. Number one is this straightening of the legs and raising of the belt line is really happening from about this point through. When the shaft is last parallel to the ground, my hands are in line with my trail leg. From here through the ball is when the legs would straighten the most. And as my legs straighten, obviously my belt line will raise. So it's from this position through that my legs are straightening, my belt line or hips are raising, and as my legs are straightening, my belt line is raising. You can see that my hips are also turned, fully turned towards the target, and they're pushed forward over my lead ankle. So bad would be legs staying bent, hips low, hips back. This would be the least amount of power. The most amount of power would be legs straight, hips up, and hips forward, right? Even to the point where the belt buckle is the closest thing to the target. So when practicing this, I like to start with the club about parallel to the ground. Now, I'm starting with my legs flexed, okay? So for sure, the legs increase bend during the early part of the downswing. If I start at setup, my legs are bent some amount, my kneecaps over the balls of my feet. At the top, my left leg has bent, my right leg has straightened some. In transition, they're both bent. And from that bent position, this is the important part, is that straightening through impact. So I like to start with the club parallel if I'm training someone in person or online. We put the club parallel to the ground, knees are bent, club is down my toe line, and the cue is straighten your legs like this, which is gonna raise your belt line, but I don't do it right here, obviously, and just swing through. As I straighten my legs, I'm gonna turn my hips and push my hips forward. Again, belt buckle towards the target, fully turn up over my left leg. So when you're practicing this, I would suggest you do it with a short club first, like a 9-iron or 8-iron. Get to the point where you can do it with no golf ball and make the finish position look correct, like you're literally jumping out of the ground, and learn to hit from this spot first. So we go here, straighten the legs, push the belt buckle forward. Now you'll notice I like to finish in this position where the arms are straight and the club's parallel to the ground. You could go right from here into a full follow through. I like to just always start at that position and control that first. So I got an 8-iron here. I'm gonna get the club parallel to the ground, straighten the legs, raise the belt line. And now as I'm doing this, my normal 8-iron I hit like 165. I'm probably hitting that, I don't know, 120 or so. So it's not going full distance to start. I'm just looking to increase this. Then as I raise my swing length, we'll get back out to full distance and farther. So parallel to the ground, raise, straighten the legs, raise the belt line. Arms are pushed away into my follow through. Straighten the legs, raise the belt line. Get good from here first. And notice also as I'm doing that, I'm gonna make sure when I'm in my finish position, my right leg, right? My right leg is straightening. So my right leg feels like it's straightening. My left leg is straightening. My hips are raising and turning. I feel my glutes squeezing. There's a pushing off of the right leg. The weight's into my lead heel. These are all just some of the micro variables you might feel as you go. And the question always comes up, Eric, well, if I'm straightening my legs and raising my hips, aren't I gonna lift up and top the ball? And the answer is no, because from this down the line view, my right shoulder goes down as my hips go up. And we'll have put on, and we'll put some Grant Waite we like to use as a model. You can see his belt line's raising, but on the line, his right shoulder is going down and forward. So if you put your hand out here, your shoulder goes down and forward as you're straightening your legs and raising your hips. And as you do that, that should feel powerful. You should feel like, gosh, I feel like I'm gonna really create power here. Straighten the legs, squeeze the glutes, push off that trail foot. Think about it like it evens itself out, right? The more my shoulder's down and forward, if I just did that, that would lower me. The more I have my shoulder down and forward, I can raise my hips. That would be the most powerful swing. So we're feeling that. Again from here, straighten the legs, raise the hips. The right shoulder stays down. Right shoulder stays down. That's how you don't lift up on it. So here, straighten the legs, raise the hips. That's how you don't hit down on it, or how you don't lift up, right, and have any top shots. So one more of those. Now as you get good from there, you can start increasing your swing length. So instead of feeling from here, you can go back to left arm parallel. And now as I start down, I'm gonna feel the same thing. Straighten the legs, raise the belt line, trail shoulder stays down on the way through. Really raising that belt line into the follow through. Left arm parallel. Yeah, beautiful. So my glutes feel fully squeezed. I'm pushed up, my right leg feels, now my right leg's not gonna get as straight as my left, but it feels like it's straightening on the way through. So I really like that to start with. Now, the last part here, another good drill, this is like a broom drill or a drag drill that's been around for a long time. It works really, really well. That you can feel the same things I like to do. If you take the club and put it on the ground about 2 feet behind the ball and slightly inside of the ball target line from down the line, take the club back here, the club's on the ground. Notice my hands are almost even with the ball, so not back here with it. My hands are forward. I'm gonna drag, look like I'm bending the shaft, drag the club head on my way through. My hands are actually working up as my legs straighten, my belt line raises, and I push my hips forward. This is a really nice way to feel this. Club on the ground, hands forward, drag the club head, straighten the legs, raise the belt line. Same thing on the way. So look how far up my hands are going. Now that's going to create a lot of power as my hands are working up through impact, the club head's working down and out. So that works to shallow that club head out. That's going to be like max compression. Hit the ball as solid and high and far as possible. So I take that feel on the way through, and I'm going to feel the same motion. Straighten the legs, raise the hips, hands working up. Yeah, and that's about as powerful, which is the point of this, as I can hit it. So if you want more power, whether you're hitting a sand wedge, an 8-iron, a driver, and all that, look at Kyle Berkshire. Straightest legs, hips highest. You want it with an iron, look at Grant Waite. Hips raising, straightening the legs. That's gonna hit it as high and far as you possibly can. I would start from here, like I mentioned, club parallel, get good with no ball, add a ball in, use video, go back to left arm parallel, same things, and try that little drag drill, right? You can feel all of those pieces. If you have any questions about any of this, leave us a comment down below. If you want me to check out your swing, free 14-day trial at cogornogolf.com, I can show you, hey, do you need to do this drill? Do you need to focus on something else? Really find what's holding you back and provide you solutions. So we'll put a card on the screen to cogornogolf.com. Take advantage of that free trial while it lasts. We'll also put another card on the screen, similar YouTube style video. Thank you guys for watching.